Roughhouse already
One,
here, folks.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
We got
8,
both
9,
me, yeah.
10.
Oh, the hat. Oh, hey, I'm not initiating any. We are live on YouTube and at Teddy's Tavern this evening. I'm Chuck Seese. We're going to talk both kinds of football, both the country and the Western. I've got ESU soccer player Pieter Neerhof to my left. I've got Coach Tom Mustac to my right. The soccer season is underway, guys. Coach, you were picked to finish fourth in the PSAC East this year. And the one striking thing about last year's team is the amount of ties that your team was able to draw. Ties are a good thing and they're a bad thing. You tied the number one team in the East last year in Millersville. They're the number one team, picked to repeat this year. So do you have to feel that you can play with the top teams in the PSAC East even though you're ranked fourth?
Yeah, I think this year the core coming back is very good, and the new additions with new freshmen, couple transfers, I think we're going to be very good. I think we'll surprise a lot of people. I think the fourth slot is good for us, and this will really push us to push for that number one spot.
And you have to feel that of the 5 ties that you put on the board last year, if you win 2 or 3 of those matchups, you have a completely different standing in the East.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think if we pull out 3 of those ties, we're in the playoffs, so we make a run. I think we turned it on late. We figured out how to play. It was a new system. Coach Berkowitz prior to me was similar, but had a different system to play, very defensive. We're more offensive, tackle-minded, and I think if we keep it up, and with the new guys, we're actually faster than we were last year, more dynamic than we were last year. So I think we could cause some problems in the PSAC.
No doubt speed is part of the game. Talk about your captains for this season.
Oh, these guys are great. Peter's been a leader since last year, since I've been here, and he's still a leader. Iggy and Nate are awesome guys. They're as well on and off the field. They know what we want. They know how to conduct themselves properly, professionally, and that's kind of what we look for in captains, and let the younger guys grow under them, and these guys took them under their wings.
Coach, I'm going to turn over to one of your captains. Thanks for being here tonight.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Tom Mustac, the ESU men's soccer head coach. Pieter Neerhof, one of the captains for this year's team. And if folks don't know about the ESU men's soccer program, it has been filled with players from all over the globe.
Yes, absolutely.
And you're one of them.
Yes.
So talk about your decision to come to ESU to play soccer.
Yeah, so back home I was 16 years old, and at that point I joined the first team, and it was the interest for me, the age gap, I was the youngest of the team, and the second youngest was 24 years old. So for me the age gap was just too big, and then you talk to some people thinking about transferring to other club in the country, and then I was 18 at that point when I graduated my high school, and I was like, I just want to go somewhere far away. Is that within Europe or is that somewhere else? Going to a different continent, and then I talked to my parents, and they were all up for it, and then I decided to come to the US and come to East Stroudsburg. So the guy that helped me come here used to play here. He's an alumni of the program, Toon.
What's his name?
Toon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
So he used to play here 3 years ago, and he graduated with his master's degree. And after that, he told me to come here. He talked with our old coach, Rob Berkowitz, and after that I came. So. Yeah.
You've been named the captain this year. What does that mean to you?
Oh, it means the world to me. So, yeah, the team is my family. Coming here, not having a lot, having all your friends on the team, 30, 35 guys. It's like, it means the world to me. It's like, the guys are everything for me. You see them every day. You see them outside of school. You go on trips with them. You go on vacation with them. You do everything with them. So it becomes like a second family away from home. And this is my new home for the upcoming year and from the last 2 years. So
the experience that you have, your leadership group with your other captains, Ignasi and Nate, and the influx of new players as well. How do Do you think the Warriors can take that next step to eliminate those 5 ties and turn a couple of those into wins that improve your playoff standing?
I mean, first of all, the group that we kept is like it's a very important group from last year. The most important core definitely stayed, and the group guys that we came in is a really high level. So all the guys can play. They'll compete to start. No one's joking around, and we're all serious about the same goal. Like some people have 1 year left. Like Iggy, he's 1 semester left. I might be done after this year. Everyone is very serious about the goal that we have, and it's for sure winning the PSAC, and after that going to the NCAAs. That's for sure the goal of this year. So.
Pieter, thanks for joining us
Absolutely.
tonight. Coach,
Thank
I'm going to turn back to you for one more quick one because your home opener is coming up at Eiler Martin Stadium.
Correct. We'll have a scrimmage this Friday, and then our home opener is in a few weeks. So we're excited to host the other team and show some fans of what we can do as a team, as a group, and really grow as the season goes on. The way we set our schedule up was to have a scrimmage this weekend, a game next week, and then have a little break to kind of make sure we get on track and we're on the right pace, and then get into our bulk of our season, which is Wednesday, Saturday for pretty much all of end of September and October. So it's going to be a grind. I think the guys are up to it. They're fit. They came in fit, ready to go. The goal is our sights are set on the PSACs, and from the PSACs to nationals, and I think we have the team to do it.
Can I ask you about the soccer stadium that's in the planning right now?
Actually, it's funny to ask. We spoke to someone today that the funding will be there. So I think we're a go from that end. Now I think it's about the permits and township type stuff we're waiting on. So once we hear back from that, I think it's going to be a full go.
Still some I's to dot and T's to cross, but everything looks like it's moving forward.
Correct. Yep, that's the basic stuff.
That's going to be a great, exciting new facility for men's and women's soccer here on campus. Coach, again, thanks for the time tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to change up some players. We're going to meet a couple of the other captains with the men's soccer team, but we are live on YouTube tonight with the ESU Coaches Show. We're going to talk more football a little bit later on in the program, including a visit to a very popular resort here in the Poconos that the ESU football team had a chance to visit recently. So stay with us. More to come on the opening edition of the Coaches Show here at Teddy's Tavern, live on YouTube. I'm Chuck Seese. Remember, this Thursday night's game will be live on Bigfoot Country 96.7 and 97.3 on your radio dial, and you can stream live coverage. Bob Bertain and I will have the pregame show starting at 6:30 this Thursday night on BigfootPoconos.com, as well as Bigfoot Poconos 96.7 and 97.3 FM. Back with more from the ESU Coaches Show. Stay with us. We are back at Teddy's and live on YouTube. It's the ESU Coaches Show. I'm Chuck Seese. We're talking ESU Warriors soccer right now, and I've got a couple of captains and a newbie to talk to tonight. Ignasi Cucurella, one of the captains here for ESU's team. We talked to Pieter Neerhof and Coach Mustac. Talk about what this season means to you and one of the leadership roles as a captain for the Warriors soccer program.
Well, personally, it means a lot. It's my last season, definitely. I'm a senior. It's been 3 years where I think that this program has grown a lot. We're really excited for this season. We want to go for everything, and everyone is really excited.
What were your thoughts about coming over to the United States? You're originally from Spain, so a different culture, and you know, you obviously liked it. You stayed for 4 years, so it meant something to you.
Yeah, it definitely meant something. As we say, you know, like it's the land of opportunity. So I kind of felt like that, and the opportunity to study something that you want to do, build your future, and play soccer at the same time is just a privilege. So that's why I went for it.
Talk to me about the chemistry this team has this year.
Wonderful, 100% chemistry.
Can't get any better than that. I'm going to turn right around and talk to Nate Bradway. Nate, also one of the captains of the team this year. Again, 5 ties last year. That had to be so frustrating for you guys as a team. How do you prepare yourself mentally so that you hopefully don't have results like that this year?
This year I feel like we have a lot more firepower going forward. So hopefully we're not short on goals and a lot less ties this year.
A defensive strategy is what the team had. Coach Mustac told me that he changed the focus a little bit to be a little more on the offensive attack. Speed is a big part of that. Talk about how the speed has improved on this team.
Yes, we brought in 3 or 4 players who are very fast going in the offensive third, and hopefully they'll be able to help us out and we'll score more goals. Less ties this year.
So you've got a freshman sitting next to you at the table, Drew Nice, who comes from the Lancaster, Pennsylvania area to play ESU, a club soccer player. Talk about what your experience has been like joining the team here at East Stroudsburg.
Yeah, it's been great. The guys are very welcoming. It's a strong group, and I really enjoy playing alongside them. Yeah.
Where do you play on the field, Drew?
I play center defensive mid.
So that's a pretty important position. It's like quarterback of the defense.
Yes, sir.
So how do you meld with the team? What's the first important thing if you're in the lineup at any given time at that spot? What's the most important thing for you to be able to communicate with your team?
Just knowing the players, knowing how they play, how they're comfortable, and communication, of course.
Well, we look forward to the season opener at Eiler Martin Stadium and all these guys being on the field. Ignasi and Nate and Drew, thank you so much for joining us here tonight on the Warrior Coaches Show. Best of luck this season.
Thank you so much.
Again, thanks, guys, for being here. We appreciate your time.
Yep, thank you.
These guys have got a meeting to get to, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll change up the set a little bit, and we'll talk ESU Warrior football when we come back. ESUWarriors.com. You can find the men's soccer schedule, all the games that are coming up at Eiler Martin Stadium. You don't want to miss it. More to come here on the Warrior Coaches Show live on YouTube and from Teddy's Tavern. Stay with us. Welcome back to the ESU Coaches Show. We are live on YouTube tonight and live at Teddy's Tavern here just over the Edinboro Bridge in Stroudsburg. But I'm with ESU head coach Jimmy Terwilliger, and from Camelback, Dave Makarsky. Dave, what's your title at Camelback?
I'm the managing director at the resort.
Well, congratulations on a fantastic place. It is so impressive to be there. We're there for numerous occasions with our radio stations, including our Mac and Cheese Festival coming up in November, and our Egg Hunt was there last spring. And I know that you hosted the Warriors to give them a beach day experience. Talk a little bit about that and your relationship with East Stroudsburg University.
Absolutely. So beach day for the team, you got to see it to believe it. To have 150 of the players as well as the coaching staff there, they had a ball. The story I love to tell is about Rival Racer. It's an attraction with 8 parallel slides that twist and turn down to the bottom, and at the end, there's a timer. So you get your speed and the speed at which you came down.
The timer doesn't lie.
It does not lie. The team had a great time with it. The thing that folks didn't know until the end was the bigger you are, the faster you go. So blood runs thick, and Rival Racer runs fast.
Gravity really, really, really works on Rival Racer.
I will say one thing, Dave, is we track speed every practice.
Yeah?
So, I put up top speeds from all of our players, and, the wide receivers, our defensive backs, they are always 1, 2, and 3. But when we went to Camel Beach, and you got Guy Gilliard, Chase Walters, Raymond Christas up at 1s and 2s and 3s, it was definitely a different flip on speed for us. It was
Talk
fun.
about why it's important to have a relationship with ESU, Dave.
Oh, I'll tell you, I often quip that ESU is my second job. It is just such a beautiful relationship that we share with the university, with the athletics program, with the sports management program, the College of Business, the hospitality program, the international students program. But I think all of us are called to make a profoundly positive difference in the lives of others, and particularly to pay it forward to the next generation. And so many opportunities to do that. And whether it's us in the classroom, hosting groups at the school, we have a number of ESU students working for us. We actually just inked a co-op program with the College of Business. So just important to make a difference in the lives of young people.
And how common of a theme is that, making an impression on young people's lives? That's been the ESU way since you were a player, since well before you were a player, since your dad was a player here at East Stroudsburg University.
I was blessed with the experience to play for some really good people, and blessed with the opportunity to carry the torch and meet guys like Dave and people in this community that have given back. And it's the way of the Warrior. It's what makes East Stroudsburg University, Camelback, where Warriors belong. We got a pretty special place, and to be able to share it with our players and the people that come through here, it gets no better than that, Chuck.
Let's take a minute to talk a little bit about this team now. I mean, you've been in camp for a couple of weeks. I saw the team on Saturday. Saturday, you had some barking to do with this team. Has it gotten better, and are you prepared for Edinboro?
We're going to bark. We're going to bark every day. It's one of those when you have really good players coaching them hard, and we're going to continue to push the limits because these guys don't know how much they're capable of. We're talented. We have a mature veteran team. They're fun to coach. They push me as a coach, and the day I start getting quiet is the day we need to start looking for a new profession. And when I look at this team, it's starting to feel kind of like the types of teams that I remember playing with.
Okay.
Guys that love each other, guys that have a common bond. They're really good players, humble servants, guys that love to practice, and guys that can be pushed. And when you push their buttons, they're competitive. It doesn't matter if it's at a practice, if it doesn't matter if it's a Camel Beach going down the fast racer. They want to compete. They want to be the best, and you can win with people that continue to push themselves like that.
Dave said it, blood runs thick, and I know there's some new blood in the Warrior family this week. Over the last couple of weeks, the family has expanded.
We've welcomed 2 new Warriors to our coaching staff family, to our Warrior family. Coach Lackey and his beautiful wife, Jess. They just welcomed Quinn Margaret Lackey into the world a week and a half ago. And then Brittany Reamer and Coach Matt Hagligans welcomed their new son, Frankie Hagligans. Our coaching staff, it's been live action. We got all sorts of diapers. We had a diaper party at my house pre-season camp. So it's a beautiful time to be alive. We wish them all the well. It's a blessing to bring those new Warriors in the family. They're good people, good men, great coaches, and they're going to be great dads.
All right, let's talk about the captains that you brought with you tonight. 4 guys that have really exemplified what it means to be a Warrior. And the first guy, at least in my mind, probably had one of the worst starts to an ESU Warrior career ever. And you know who I'm talking about. He rode the rest of his freshman year on a little cart so that his injured leg could heal, but now he has come back and he is the anchor of your offensive line. I'm talking about Ray Christas.
Ray Christas is the type of player that, you know, if you had 100 of them, you'd never lose a game. You know, he's that type of player. He's the Bill Bergen Award recipient for our program, which goes to the one person that has exemplified team commitment, leadership, work ethic throughout the entire deal. And there's no better representative of East Stroudsburg University than Raymond. And you're right, he had his career started in kind of an adverse situation. But people forget, he started as an 18-year-old freshman
that
second
night,
he came in and broke his leg that very night.
Yeah.
And here he is, you know, 5 years later. He's still our starting center. He's our team leader. I look at him, and he's one of those guys that, you know, when the ball is run over Raymond Christas, you trust you're going to get the yards that you need to get. So we're really blessed to coach him.
And let's talk about the other captains that you brought with you tonight. Dawson Stuart, number 14, the tight end, the quarterback. I mean, he's been all everything, and you can kind of consider him to be a coach on the field.
He is. And Chuck, I'm going to try to hire him when he's done. I look to him and say, hey, Dawson, what plays do you like?
Yeah.
He sees the field the way a coach sees it. And we recruit him out of Owen J. Roberts High School. Great quarterback. Suffered an ACL, and he was looking at playing. At that point in time, we had Jake Cirillo and we had Ben Moser was going to quarterbacks. And he said, hey, I want to play. Put me at tight end. He knows football. And all I've seen from him is just grow the position. And you know East Stroudsburg is known for its wide receivers and quarterbacks.
Yes, not tight ends.
Not the tight ends.
No. But he
and
really
now,
added a new wrinkle, and with him and Jonathan Post last year, that was there was a weapon every time either of those were on the field.
When you have a player like that, a transformational leader, player like that, he has really made our offense different. And now we recruit 3, 4, or 5 tight ends on a roster, and we see the value, and he's bought that. He's an amazing person, great leader, and I'm going to want to coach with him at some point. I'll probably be coaching for him someday.
There you go. On the defensive side, Noah Hambrick, one of your captains.
Noah Hambrick is the Swiss Army knife. You know, you put him in, you plug him in, he can do anything. He's got a military background. It was between coming to us or going to the Marines when we recruited him. And he's got that type of drive, that type of mentality. He is a workaholic. You put him in at corner, nickel, free safety, strong safety, linebacker. He'll do whatever, and he will run through a wall for you. He's not the biggest guy. He's not the strongest guy. Might be close to the fastest. But, wow, when you need something done, this young man can get it done. And, you know, when you have guys like that, it doesn't matter where he plays. It's a no-factor deal. So we're really lucky that Noah's
and your fourth captain, Coach Terwilliger, is a guy that also suffered an injury last year, kept him away from action for quite some time, but he seems to be back and he seems to be healthy. Adewale Obayanju.
Wally, we call him. He is one of the most talented corners in our league. And unfortunately, last year he had a season-ending injury, and Wally comes back when he's at his 100%. I don't think there's a better cover guy in our league. And we're going to need him. Because to do what we want to do defensively, you know, he needs to be that guy that steps up and takes one factor out of the game. And Wally has done it. He's matured so much since he's been here. I can remember his first year when he came here. When we recruited these guys, and you forget, we were 2-9 the year we recruited most of these seniors. It was not a real fun time to come to East Stroudsburg. And this group, when they came in here under the promise, we're going to flip this around. And we're going to get this together. And now to see that young freshman that came in 2019 is now a senior. He was on a playoff team last year embarking on a season with great expectations.
Sure.
Super proud of his leadership.
And they did get the chance to flip it because they went from 2-9 to 9-2 last year. So lofty goals this year, but your motto for this year was more in 24.
Yeah. And we're going to keep pushing. You know, these guys don't know how much they're capable of. They're special. They've got the right blend of veteran leadership with work ethic. They're all extremely competitive. They do it right. They stick together. The sky is the limit for this group. And I'm
Dave,
gonna keep pushing.
When you talk football with Coach Terwilliger, you can't feel like you almost have to feel like you want to go get some tape and some pads and some cleats.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, I've had the behind-the-scenes tour. I've seen the locker room and the whole story behind it. And he and I love to talk leadership on the field and off the field.
How does leadership on the field translate to the corporate world?
It's really one and the same, right? I mean, it's about practice, it's about conditioning, it's about creating vision, it's about accountability. All the same principles apply on and off the field.
A lot of similar buzzwords.
What I've been amazed in my friendship with Dave is seeing the corporate side of his operation is something like the scope I can't imagine. When they go from Camel Beach to Camelback ski, and they're putting 4,000 tubes into the water park, and being able to lead people and being able to create a team that maximizes everybody around you are the signs of great leaders. And we've got some really good leaders on our team right now. Got some good coaches, some good people in our community. It's a fun time to be a Warrior.
You know, you mentioned it, season is starting to change, right? It'll be the last few weeks for Camel Beach, and then the transition begins.
The wind down's underway. Labor Day, Camel Beach closes, and then we go through that countdown to opening in mid-December. So
Leaves are already starting to change, too. I've seen some color in my backyard anyway. Dave Makarsky from Camelback, thank you so much for being here tonight.
It's my pleasure to be here. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the partnership with Jimmy and ESU.
Well, it certainly shows, and it shows that there's such a pride in being able to work with those common goals in sight, really.
We're going to keep building, you know, and to be able to take the team to Camelback is the first of many events I'd like to do at East Stroudsburg. When you have special places like this in our community, we'd like to be able to do that. And I think it separates East Stroudsburg from everywhere else, makes us where Warriors belong. It is blood runs thick, and I'm happy for our friendship, our partnership, and I look forward to the future.
All right, we're going to meet the Warrior captains for the 2024 ESU Warrior football team when we return. Thanks to Dave Makarsky from Camelback and, as always, head coach Jimmy Terwilliger. We'll be back with more live on YouTube and live from Teddy's Tavern tonight. It's the ESU Coaches Show. Stay with us. We are back at the ESU Coaches Show live at Teddy's Tavern. Thank you for the dozens who are watching live tonight. ESU's offensive lineman Ray Christas, one of the Warrior captains, and ESU tight end Dawson Stuart are here with us tonight. Dawson, back for one more turn of the clock for the ESU Warriors. And how do you feel going into what will be your final season?
I feel great. I mean, I've been here for a while, but something about this place I just can't seem to find a reason to leave. It just keeps bringing me back in. The guys are great, coaches are great. It's like a huge family, so why not stick it out for as long as I can?
What does it mean to be with this group of guys for another semester and the chance to improve upon your lot? I mean, a 9-2 season last year, but 10, 11 wins this year. That's not out of the question.
I mean, these guys they're special to me. I mean, I grew up with two sisters, so these are like all my brothers, like big family, and just every day seeing them, seeing how we push each other. Just seeing how close we get to each other, and it's special what we're doing around here.
Injuries are part of the game. You both suffered injuries that cost you time, but it's given you the chance to finish your career and get that final season in. Do you have any personal goals or things that you want to accomplish in your final season?
I just want to be a great teammate, push each other, and win at all costs. If that means doing whatever I have to do, I'll do it, and just to get a win for the guys.
Got an offensive teammate here that's one of the captains. So talk about Ray Christas a little bit.
I mean, what is there not talk about Ray? Ray does it all for us. I mean, without Ray, I mean, it's like he's the glue that holds most of the offense together, tells us what front they're running, where the blitz is coming from. He's pretty much like a second quarterback for the offensive line, and playing with him is like a blessing.
All right, I'm going to turn and start and talk to you and tell me about Dawson Stuart.
Yeah, I mean, Dawson's the guy. He's the guy I go to, anytime I need to know what's going on behind me. And the communication between him, Sean McTaggart, the quarterback, myself, and trying to just be coaches on the field to help our team, put our team in the best position to win. And that's what we try to do out there on the field, and then execute it once it's time to go.
Coaches will always tell you the game is won or lost in the trenches. You guys have a pretty good core of experience coming back. Talk about that and how you feel that that's a strength for your team this year.
Yeah, it's exciting to get to suit up with those guys again. We've all been here a while. Myself, Kylo Wiesner, Tim Kinney all came in 2019 together. Guy Gilliard came in a year later as a transfer from a prep school. We're all about the same age. We're all in our 4th, 5th, 6th years. And, to be able to strap it up again with them one more time and to be able to do this with them, it's special. And then you add in the guys like Dawson, who I've been with, who's been here since I've been here. It's special. We have some guys stepping up to fill the holes. We obviously lost Elias Marte last year, so we got guys stepping up to fill that hole. But it's exciting to get to go again with those group of guys and get one more run at this thing.
There is big-time depth at the Warrior skill positions. Talk about that a little bit. I mean, guys at fullback position are catching the ball out of the backfield this season. So there's no – and I saw a little bit of practice today where you were wide open on the sideline. Quarterback found you. You were right where you're supposed to be. He zipped the ball right to you. This offense really looks like it's focused right now.
Yeah, I mean, the play you're talking about where I was wide open on the sideline, I just got to give credit to our receivers. Those guys have unreal speed. They're matchup nightmares. So they clear it out, and I'm just the guy left, and the quarterback, Sean, does a great job going through his reads and just finding the open man.
But those guys are important. It's important to be able to know where the open man is, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we have a lot of playmakers, a lot of speed, and it's not just one line of it's not one line of guys. It's first string, second string. I mean, it's like 1A, 1B almost at this point. There's just so many guys that can make plays on the outside, and it's great.
We're going to talk to some of your defensive teammates and the defensive captains. There are a couple of guys, one in particular that was a nose tackle last year that is now playing semi-pro ball in Europe. Is that something that you guys think about as a possibility to extend your career if you want to continue with football, or do you think that when this year is done that you guys can see yourself hanging it up and maybe moving on to something else? Coach Terwilliger talked about how he maybe hopes someday to be able to coach with you.
Yeah, I mean, my focus right now is just on the team and what we got to do to win. But I know in the offseason I think about once I'm done, I'll hang it up and then try to get into coaching. We got some of the best coaches around that I've learned from for the last 6 years.
That's probably an unfair question too, because you are focused so much on the first game of the year. But let's talk about again the depth on the offense as well as the defense. I mean, when you have guys like Noah Hambrick and Adewale Obayanju scouting patrolling the defensive secondary, you've got to feel pretty confident in their ability to get that other team's offense off the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, going against them all camp, we had 3 weeks of really good camp. We go best on best as much as we can, and so when we get to go against that one defense and see what they can do, and they do some amazing things from up front. We lost some guys, but the guys filling in have been here, they've done it, and they did a great job in camp, and I'm excited to see what they do. Linebacking core, same thing, and then obviously like those guys you named in the back end. So we have a lot of guys, and trust me, they made our jobs hard all camp. So I'm excited to see what they can do this Thursday night out in Erie and all season for that matter.
You said it, Erie, Thursday night, 7 o'clock, Edinboro, and we'll have live coverage on Bigfoot Country 96.7 and 97.3, streaming online at BigfootPoconos.com. Dawson, Stuart, thank you, bud, for being here. Appreciate you. Ray Christas, time to get after it Thursday night. We'll be there. Can't wait to see these guys get after it against Edinboro. We've got more to come and a special surprise at the end of the show. Stay tuned. More of the Coaches Show live on YouTube tonight and live from Teddy's Tavern. Stay with us. We are back on YouTube tonight. Welcome back to the Warrior Coaches Show. I'm Chuck Seese. We're live at Teddy's Tavern, and we're talking ESU football. They open up the season Thursday night against the Edinboro Fighting Scots. We'll have live coverage on Bigfoot Country 96.7 and 97.3 on the FM dial, and also streaming online at BigfootPoconos.com. To my left, Adewale Obayanju, patrolling the defensive secondary for ESU, and to my right, Noah Hambrick. Now, they just said before we started, you guys, have the connection coming up from the same area, coming up to ESU. There are a number of guys that, when you look at the roster of these teams, they're guys that are from certain areas. And does that make it easier to transition from the high school game to the college game?
You could say that. Baltimore, we got a strong football thing going on down there, so we bringing a lot of guys from home up.
How well did you know Noah when you were playing high school ball in Baltimore?
I know him kind of well. I didn't play in his conference, but yeah, I knew Noah.
You know each other down there in Baltimore. So what was it like to have that, that kind of connection coming to a new place and grow into a new culture here in the Poconos?
And man, it felt good. It was like it actually made it easier, like knowing some guys from back home for real. So they I had somebody that I was going through it with, I was learning with me for real.
We talked about earlier how this team has flipped things around in the last 4 or 5 seasons. 2-9, several years ago. 9-2 last year. What does it mean for you to be able to? You must have been just pulling your hair out literally last year, not being able to be on the field with your team. What does it mean for you to be able to come back and lead your team as a captain on the field this year?
It means a lot. I know my presence was missed, and I'm ready to get to work, and we're gonna do what we gotta do to get back to what we were.
What are you scouting right now about Edinboro? Because when I look at their roster, I think I see one guy that was in their top 10 in receptions last year, and none of their running backs seem to have a lot of experience. It seems their offensive experience seems to be at the quarterback position. Is that what you see?
Right now, I see ESU versus ESU. We're trying to dominate the best way we can and maximize everything we can do so we can achieve what we need to.
All right, Noah, we'll turn to you and talk about the defensive focus in the secondary right now for this team. I mean, keeping points off the board, that's the goal of every defense. You got to go out, and you guys are matched up against the best receivers that you'll be playing against.
Yeah, I mean, we just gotta focus on doing what we gotta do, being good in our play calls and all of that, so that when it's time to play, we can just have fun. You know, the work will be put in, and we can just do what we do.
Take us inside the X's and O's for a little bit. Is there something that you key on when you're playing against the receiver? Are you looking at his hips? Are you looking at his shoulders? Are you looking at his eyes? We're thinking, what's he going to tell you what he's doing?
Well, if I'm in man-to-man, yeah, I'm all about the hips. I'm keying the hips all the way into the route, into the ball's in there, and I look for the ball. But if we in zone, then I look at all the receivers, and I just kind of read what they do in order to, and that's just how I play it. Yeah.
What do you expect from Edinboro this week?
Man, we expect. I don't really know too much of what they expect with them for real. I feel like knowing us, knowing our defense, I feel like we should go in there and dominate for real. But you know, they got a new OC, and they got some new players for real. So we just gonna have to come and play our game and just do what we do.
Try to dictate what they do. Obviously, one of the things you guys did very well last year was play solid against the run. How important is that to getting off to a good defensive start?
Oh, it's just as important as it's just as important as it always been for real. You know, we got to come out, we got to set the tone from the jump.
How do you like to attack the run when you know you're not going to be in pass coverage on a running play?
Well, I'm head on. I'm coming down as fast as possible, lighting them up.
Noah, tell me about what it means to have your teammates and the coaching staff recognize you as a captain this year.
And it feels good, man. I feel blessed. You know, it's actually exciting for me for real, and I feel like I've done a lot to earn that role for real. So it's just nice that they recognizing me for, like, you know, the things that I've done here and the work that I've put in here and allow me to be the captain.
All four captains, all PSAC selections for East Stroudsburg University last year, and hoping that they can get back to that this year. Again, the season starts on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. The pregame show will start at 6:30 on Bigfoot Country 96.7 and 97.3, and we'll be streaming live on BigfootPoconos.com. We got one more last thing to do, and that's AJ's View. You ready for that?
Yeah.
AJ knows what's going on.
I bet he does. He always does.
He always knows what's going on. AJ's View is coming up next, Noah. Thanks so much for being here. Good luck on Thursday night.
Got you. I appreciate you having me.
We appreciate you being here. We are going to take a break, and AJ's View is coming back as we wrap things up tonight from Teddy's. We're live on YouTube. It's the ESU Coaches Show. I'm Chuck Seese. You can join us every Monday night. We're going to be moving the show to 5 o'clock after Labor Day weekend. So there's no show next Monday night, but the following Monday, which I believe is the 2nd or the 9th, I think it is, we will be live at 5 p.m. here at Teddy's. So you can come on down and join us, have a beverage and a bite, and enjoy the live broadcast of the ESU Coaches Show. We'll wrap it up with AJ's View right after this.
I do, actually. I do. I've been known.
We are back. It is time for AJ's View. I'm Chuck Seese. We're at the ESU Coaches Show live on YouTube tonight and also live from Teddy's Tavern. Again, join us in 2 weeks. We'll be on at 5 o'clock here from Teddy's Tavern. So AJ Monsman works with the special teamers, the long snappers, and the holders. And I want to talk to you about what their focus has been like in this camp this year.
Yeah, Coach Twig said, we have a mature veteran group coming back. Adam Knowles, our new punter, he gray-shirted last year. Bart had a great season. Ty Quintos got a little game experience. They're both really mature. AJ Delgado at long snapper, transfer from Monmouth, could be his last year. Not sure yet, but just really mature. They all know what they're doing. We have a lineage of specialists here. You talk about Bart, Jordan Walters. You talk about Cole Fryer and Dennis Long. I mean, just a lineage of specialists. I'm happy to be a part of it. I'll throw
a couple names at you from the Denny Dowds era. Joey Pingatore and Mike Augustin. How about that? Some kickers from the 80s and 90s when I was,
Hey, listen, I wasn't really alive back then, but, hey, I'm glad we have Chuck for Warriors
nothing
trivia.
Nothing like overstating the obvious, right,
AJ?
I appreciate you, man.
I'm glad we have Chuck for some Warriors trivia, but we got a great lineage. I think our focus is good. I think we're really locked in. Ready to go out on Thursday night and compete. Glad they get their shot, and I'm ready to roll.
Special teams, it's cut the game into thirds, offense,
Absolutely.
defense, and special teams. But in many ways, special teams can be a lot more than just a third of the game.
Listen, special teams, you're not on the field for as many snaps, but those snaps are so momentous. And if you block a punt, that's so much momentum. Edinboro does a great job on their special teams. We really had to be locked in. They do a great job with everything. All-American, all PSAC punter coming back. We're happy. We're happy to get the chance to compete. I think it's tough for a specialist sometimes because you really only notice them when they mess up, right? And I think it's kind of hard to keep their focus locked in. But I think we have a really good group. We're ready to show what we can do.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Like you said, how important it can be to the outcome of the game. You talked about, you did a little television spot. I feel lucky to have you here on the webcast tonight. But you talked about something like hearing the sound of the snap, hearing the sound of the kick, hearing the sound of the laces, hearing the sound of the foot going across the blades of grass. All that really is information that you get on the field.
All that's information I get on the field, hearing his leg swing, hearing, where the punt hits on his foot. Hearing where the snap hits the hands, just stuff like that. I can kind of hear the rotation of a snap. Just different ways of me being able to coach rather than, someone who has vision. We have to modify and we work with what we have. And, I'm so thankful that Coach Twig's given me the opportunity. And, listen, my goal is to be the best coach on the field at all times and do the best that I can do, and that's what we're trying to do.
What is your expectation for this Thursday against Edinboro, AJ?
Yeah, I think it's two really good teams. Edinboro, great team coming back, brought a lot of transfers in, and then us coming off the 9-2 year, going to the playoffs. I think it should be a really good game. I think they're opening a new stadium out there, so I think they're going to be live and ready to go. I think it's the only game in Division II on Thursday night.
Is that right?
I think so, because we're opening week 0. The only game in the PSAC for sure, I'm really excited. I think it's going to be two well-matched teams. I think each team matches up pretty well against each other, and I think it'll be a really tough, hard-fought game out there.
You're around this team. What do your senses tell you about the energy and about the focus and the commitment of this team?
Yeah, I think we have a really mature team coming back. Most of our starters, were on the playoff team last year. They really kind of got a sense because before that, it had been some up and down years. You called all the games, but, it's been some up and down years trying to get people locked in. But I think going there last year really kind of, put it into their mindset that, like, hey, we got a team coming back that can do some damage, but we have to stay locked in on each other. We have to be the best we can be. And I think they've really locked in from the off season to the spring to camp. I think we had a good camp. And, a good week of prep, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
All right, you care to lay a score on us or not?
No. I think it's going to be a good game. I think whoever makes the most plays, puts herself in the best position is going to win it.
All right, AJ Monsman and AJ's View, we certainly appreciate you, man,
Chuck,
and thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having me on, and Teddy's, thank you guys.
We'll see you in 2 weeks from the ESU Coaches Show as we wrap things up tonight. Thanks to ESU coaches Jimmy Terwilliger and Tom Mustac from the football and soccer programs. Thanks to Dave Makarsky from Camelback here to talk about the relationship between Camelback and ESU. And, of course, we can't say enough about the ESU athletes that were here tonight.
Absolutely.
Nate Bradway, Ignasi, Cucurella, Pieter Neerhof, and Drew Nice from the men's soccer team, and, of course, the Warrior football captains, Ray Christas, Dawson Stuart, Wally Obayanju, and Noah Hambrick, and, of course, AJ Monsman.
Thank you, Chuck.
We'll be back in 2 weeks, 5 o'clock in 2 weeks, here live on YouTube and at Teddy's Tavern. Thanks to everybody for making this possible. We'll talk to you on the ESU Coaches Show in 2 weeks. And remember to tune in live Thursday night at 6:30 for the pregame show on Bigfoot Country 96.7 and 97.3, streaming online at BigfootPoconos.com. We'll talk to you Thursday night, and if not, in 2 weeks here from Teddy's on the ESU Coaches Show.